Behold the B-Chip! In conjunction with the TV ratings that appear at the top of each program, keeps your family watching only the shows that you find suitable. For more information, visit us on the web or call this number. The B-Chip.
Followed by the new comedy series Extras, starring the award-winning creator of The Office, Ricky Gervais.
I've never been touched by a priest. Been touched by God. Not in that way.
Curb Your Enthusiasm and Extras. Premieres Sunday night beginning at 10.
On the next Real Sports.
Even though he's NASCAR's defending champ, Kurt Busch still feels like an outsider.
I don't fit in all that well. Not being from the South and looking 12 years old, that doesn't help either. It's more like a fraternity. It takes time to be accepted.
You went through a hell of a hazing period if this is a fraternity.
After an altercation with fellow driver Jimmy Spencer, Busch's reputation was in need of some serious repair work.
The next thing I know, I get this hit in the rear end. It's disrespectful to run into somebody's car after the race.
Will changing teams give this hotshot the clean start he's been looking for? Armin Katayan takes to the track. The Emmy Award-winning Real Sports with Bryant Gumbel premieres Wednesday, September 28th.
Nothing is out of bounds.
Exhilarating, hard-hitting, unbeatable. HBO Sports. And now, the HBO Sports presentation, Inside the NFL.
The following is a presentation of HBO Sports.
Coming up on Inside the NFL, Week 2 raises questions around the league. Like in Tampa Bay, are the Bucs really this good?
I know you like it!
And in Minnesota, could the Vikings really be this bad?
Palmer looking long. Got Chad out there at the 30-25 play.
And we join New Orleans Police Chief Eddie Compass as he brings a little bit of the Big Easy to New Jersey.
How you doing, man? You been all right, huh?
Should that game have been played in Jersey? Plus, what's wrong with Jamal in Baltimore? Will Harrington ever roar in Detroit? Answers to those Week 2 questions and more, all next on Inside the NFL.
Welcome once again to Inside the NFL with Dan Marino, Chris Collinsworth, and Chris Carter. Bob Costas in New York. Week 2 complete. Lots of interesting developments, but the game getting the most attention was the Saints and the Giants at the Meadowlands Telethon game. They raised $5 million plus for hurricane relief.
Great.
That's the upside. Downside, a lot of people, not just Saints folks like Jim Haslett and Aaron Brooks, but many people around the league questioning this arrangement whereby the Giants got the extra home game.
And they should question it, especially if you play, you're in the NFC East, because they're distinctly getting an advantage, the Giants are, for getting that extra home game, which no one else in the league is going to get. And the commissioner always talks about competitive balance and being fair throughout the league. Well, here, they definitely, in this case, gave the Giants an advantage. And they should have put the game somewhere else.
A neutral site.
Wherever, a neutral site, whatever.
Or
And they
Baton
did it.
Rouge,
No,
or
you
San
think about
Antonio,
it, right.
or anywhere but
they
Giants
did it. They already
Stadium.
have an example of it. They did it 2 years ago in San Diego when there was the fires. They took that game to Arizona when Miami played.
They didn't take it back to Miami.
They didn't take it back to Miami. They gave tickets away. It worked out fine. Actually, I think they had the game was sold out. But there's no doubt that there was a distinct advantage. And people should be upset. The Saints should be upset. The Redskins, the Cowboys, the Eagles.
Wasn't fair.
Well, here's what Paul Tagliabue said, as quoted in the New Orleans Times-Picayune. The competitive aspects were inconsequential. We offered to put this game at neutral sites like the Georgia Dome, Texas Stadium, and Reliant Stadium. But what group of players wants to go into a divisional opponent stadium like the Georgia Dome? I mean, I played sports. Tagliabue was a basketball player at Georgetown. He said, I played sports. You want to go in. You want to be challenged to compete. Go into the other guy's den and beat them, says Paul Tagliabue.
When you have to. When you have to play road games and you want to have that road game mentality going, and that certainly is the case. But this is the one that really bothers me. The competitive aspects were inconsequential. Are you kidding me? This is the National Football League.
That's
it's
all
the
they
essence
preach.
of what they do.
That's what they preach every week.
The competitive aspects
balance.
were inconsequential. Now, Paul Tagliabue is a smart guy. that was not up to his standard. Can I just leave it at that?
Yeah, he
Let's
usually
give him a mulligan on that.
He usually has close to perfect pitch in situations like this. To play devil's advocate, though, he could contend, look, this decision was made in virtually the immediate aftermath of the worst natural disaster in American history, before the Saints had established a headquarters in San Antonio, before we knew what we could do at Baton Rouge, and at that time, it looked like the best thing to just flip-flop it. Giants were going to be at Saints, we'll put them at Giants.
Right, but there's no way, I don't care what they did. They went over a lot of different stadiums. The game could have been in Texas Stadium. And trust me, Tagliabue, he is missing the heartbeat of the players when he says that the guys don't mind going into somewhere else. In the NFL, when you have a fairness there, you have it split, 16-game schedule, 8 games at home, 8 games in a row. We know, as former players, those 8 games on the road are going to be brutal. Those 8 games at home are going to be brutal. And you give them a huge advantage by giving them that extra home game. And I can understand why Parcells and everyone else would be upset. They should have played the game, just quite simple, somewhere else. They missed it on this one.
Meanwhile, here's what Parcells is really upset about. His team blows a 13-0 lead late in the fourth quarter Monday night against the Redskins.
And you're not expecting that from a Bill Parcells coach team. Never before having a 13-point lead in the fourth quarter had he lost the game. And a lot of that can be placed on Roy Williams, that burden. Playing a lot of soft zone coverage, especially the first play, 4th down and 15. There's no way he should ever let a receiver ever get behind him. Roy Williams, he loves to make the big hit. And in that, I think 4th and 15, he's looking at the tight end trying to make the big hit instead of staying deep.
Well, one thing I'll tell you is Brunell, in this case, now as a quarterback will always tell you, you can't cover a perfect throw. He made 2 perfect throws, and that's why the Redskins won.
And that's why the Redskins are 2-0 now, surprisingly.
And it all comes back to the quarterback.
That's right.
As Dan always reminds us.
All right, we have more highlights of this game later on in the show, as well as a special highlight package surrounding not just the game, but some of the peripheral elements of the Giants-Saints game this past Monday night. But we'll start in Cincinnati, where Bengals coach Marvin Lewis was urging his team to seize the day in their home opener against the Vikings.
When we had enough talk, the opportunity ahead of us to do the things, accomplish the things that we need to do. We got to go and take it. We go take ours. We're in our place, our house. Let's go play football the way we know to do it. Just take their breath away.
In less than a minute, the Vikings were gasping for air and grasping for answers.
Palmer looking long. Got Chad out there at the 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown on the second play of the game. A 70-yard hookup between Carson Palmer and Chad Johnson, and the Bengals lead 6-0.
They're all screwed up, man. They're all screwed up.
A Minnesota secondary with 3 new veteran starters couldn't communicate, cover, or tackle. Carson Palmer picked them apart, firing for 337 yards and 3 touchdowns in the first half alone.
They're going to start double-teaming us. Do something. They can't do that all night. They better start double-teaming us. We're going to whoop their ass.
Just keep pounding their ass. They're wearing down. They're already wearing down. Just keep pounding them. Stay on top of it.
Cincinnati rolled to 27 unanswered points, and the rout was on.
What a complete domination by Cincinnati in all facets of the game.
We come out in the third quarter and start draining the clock as soon as we get out. I'm not telling you not to be aggressive and all that, but just drain the clock.
TJ Hushmanzada's second touchdown helped build a 37-0 lead. The Vikings had to pass on every down, and the Bengals had them right where they wanted.
Guys, if you don't give up a big play, an explosive play, we'll force it right into what we're getting right now. Into our hands. We'll keep them in the pocket. Plaster be ready to go.
Behind an offensive line missing 2 starters, Dante Culpepper endured his worst game ever. For the second straight game, he failed to throw a touchdown pass. He fumbled and threw a career-high 5 interceptions, 3 of them to Deltha O'Neal, number 24.
Do not back off 1 bit. Don't be satisfied. We haven't done it yet. You got me? We have not done it. I'm so keep it going.
5 for Dante, 10 turnovers this year for Dante alone.
In 2 games, Minnesota has had 24 possessions. 12 have ended with turnovers. Still, it's too early for the Vikings to hang their heads, and too soon for the Bengals to brag.
We're going to wait a little bit. We're going to wait a little bit before we start making noise. But this is a warning shot.
Everybody's going to start talking about how good you are. We have not done anything yet. Tell them, JB, where you at, Broussard? Overrated, right? Who
The Oakland Coliseum is a scary place, but on Sunday, the Chiefs looked right at home. It was the Raiders who appeared lost.
Card comes up and fumbles the ball, and the Chiefs pick it up and they run it in, which they're not going to be allowed to. It's a muff punt, but they will take over on the Raiders' 17-yard line.
The Chiefs turned the muff into the first score of the game, a 4th-and-1 plunge from Priest Holmes. But in the third quarter, Oakland tied the game with its own big play weapon.
A counter play action. Collins stepping up big, heaving one high and deep to Moss, right sideline. He's got it. 10-5 touchdown Raiders. What a play by Randy Moss.
The Chiefs took a 6-point lead on 2 Lawrence Tynes field goals. But with a minute remaining, the Raiders, who had not led the entire game, had a 4th-down shot at victory.
Here's Collins back, looking, time, looping for the end zone. It is a juggling drop. Porter had it on his fingertips for a moment in double coverage and could not come down with the ball.
The Chiefs handed the Raiders only their 2nd loss in their last 11 home openers.
So, Dick Vermeil, Priest Holmes, and the Chiefs win their 2nd straight. The Raiders, despite a retooled offense and the addition of Randy Moss, are 0-2, as is Moss's former team, the Vikings. How's this working out?
Well, obviously it's not going well. The one thing I don't think the Vikings anticipated, and when you don't have Randy Moss, I mean, we used to sit and watch film with Randy, and it was amazing the type of coverage that people would really force people to do. We could run the ball, and especially to his side, it's hard to put a safety down where he can force the run because you have to always double team. I talked to Belichick last week, and he said in the opening game of the season he had never committed that many defenders to one receiver his whole entire career.
And the other thing is, too, is Culpepper, because he doesn't have Moss and they can't rely on the running game like they have in the past, is he looks uncomfortable. He looks like he's just, not comfortable with the whole situation. They lost their offensive coordinator. But the other thing is, they can't run the ball. I blame it on the Wizinator. Who's that guy? It's got to go back to the Wizinator.
Ontario Smith.
He's not there. They can't run the ball. He's over with the Wizinator.
What do you do to follow that? You can't go beyond that. But, it is interesting now. We've seen 2 teams fall apart when they lose great receivers. The 49ers have been horrible since T.O. left. And, of course, Philadelphia got really good. And the Minnesota Vikings now without Randy Moss. It's almost like they didn't know how to play the other day. And for Dante Culpepper, I think he has to be the take-2 guy in this league now. When superstars have the ability to take 2, in other words, have a linebacker specifically assigned to him, he needs to run the football more. He needs to take over the football game.
Because they don't have the ball, too.
They don't have the great running game. They don't have the great receivers right now. And it is complexing for him right now.
All right, Chris Carter. The Saints go to Minnesota this weekend. Can the Vikings get a win on the board?
It has to be competitive edge. Look at the Saints. Played Monday night. Late game. Probably got back to San Antonio early Tuesday morning. Now they have to, if you look at the record of NFL teams that have traveled on a Monday night and had to travel the next week, it's not very good. I think that, and you got to get tired of traveling week in and week out. I like Minnesota getting back on.
Minnesota has to play better.
They have to. They can't play any
worse. They got to get the Wizinator off their mind.
I think I need a Wizinator. What's complexing mean?
You know what?
Heard of that
I was going to bring that up. Something is complexing.
I was going to say perplexing.
It's both
and then
complex and perplexing.
I think complexing should be a word. It's
we understood it.
I know, which is really frightening when you get right down to it.
We understood exactly what you meant.
There you have it. I've been sitting here so long I may need a Wizinator myself. Anyway, Carter likes the Vikings. Collinsworth agrees with him, but Dan and I are going with the Saints. And regarding Randy Moss and the Raiders, They are in Philly, and we all like the Eagles. Meanwhile, Chris Collinsworth, you had a bird's-eye view of your former team's big win at home on Sunday. They kept putting you on camera. Now the Bengals travel to Chicago. They'll be at Soldier Field against the Bears. How do you see that?
You know, I'm really interested to see this Bears team play again because they played so well last week. This defense, I think it's the best defense in football. I really do. Mike Brown is back from an injury. Brian Urlacher from a season ago. They didn't have the key elements. They are simply the best right now. And so a great case right now for Carson Palmer to go in there and prove that he is the man. And I think they'll get it done. I really do. Defensively, the Bengals look much improved. They could be a really good team this year.
Well, Collinsworth predictably likes his Bengals. Carter and Marino concur, but I am taking the Bears for reasons known only to myself. All right, now, let's return to the highlights from last week. It was reunion weekend in a couple of spots. The 49ers dropping in on their old pal Terrell Owens, and the Eagles and Kurt Warner welcoming old friends from St. Louis for an afternoon in the Arizona sun.
The great-tailed grackle has been known to do its hunting in the end zone at Sun Devil Stadium. Other birds indigenous to Phoenix nest there as well. So it's surprising that despite flying up and down the field last Sunday, the Cardinals offense couldn't have found the end zone with a homing pigeon. 4 trips inside the St. Louis 12 netted 0 touchdowns.
You gotta be kidding me, please. Ball security. Kurt Warner's had a problem with it here in this first half.
While Arizona's pain was self-inflicted, the Rams took pleasure in the early lead.
Keep this lead to where we're going to be running it. Stay underneath the pads, stay underneath the pads, keep it moving back.
Steven Jackson, number 39, made running the ball look easy.
Near side, got a block. Steven Jackson with a move. Steven Jackson, touchdown, St. Louis Rams.
Big, powerful back, but I'll tell you what, the guy has got quickness, and that's what scored on that play.
Nice job. Stay cool, stay hydrated. Get ready to go do it again, huh?
While the 94-degree temperature made cooling off a necessity, the Cardinals, trailing by 5, heated up for one last drive.
Let's go, O! Put it in the zone, baby! Let's go, O! We need it!
Facing his former team for the first time, Kurt Warner collected 74 of his 327 passing yards in the final 2 minutes.
Warner with the ball. Has time. Going over the middle. Bolden with a catch inside the 20. Down to the 17. 35 seconds left. And it's first down and goal at the 5. 27 seconds left in the game.
Look out for pressure here.
Trips to the left. Single receiver right. Rams show blitz. Here it comes. Warner going to get sacked. Grabbed by Archuleta and sacked at the 10-yard line. Cardinals taking their time. Getting up there. Warner has it, back to throw, and a penalty flag down with 7 seconds left. Going to be against Arizona, and that's going to be the game. They're going to run the 10 seconds off the clock, and the Cardinals are going to lose the game.
The frustrated Cardinals have more defeats than they have touchdowns this season. And while it's still very early, Arizona must stop giving opponents reason to smile if they are to contend this year. Donovan McNabb was listed as questionable for the Eagles' home opener with a bruised sternum. But just 57 seconds into the game, it became obvious the 49ers would be the ones feeling the pain.
Goes back to throw. Has time. Now running out of time. Runs out of trouble. Runs to his left. Throws on the run. Owens is free. 40, 30, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Terrell Owens. No gimmick. Dropped the ball as he crossed the goal line. And remember, he brought Krispy Kremes over to McNabb's house last week for a truce. Maybe it's paying off.
McNabb and Owens look like best friends on Sunday, which is more than you can say for T.O. and his former 49er teammates. T.O. burned his former team because he was still burning over comments made by Atlanta's D'Angelo Hall in Week 1.
They said he shut me down with 100 last week, so I'm going to raise the party, and I'm going to try to get 200. Well,
Owens had to settle for 143 yards on 5 catches, all in the first half. But he did reach a career milestone, 10,000 receiving yards.
Hey, it's good to have you back. It's good to have you back. You know, man. You're like, I never left. Hey, I hear you, man.
The Eagles won a laugher as McNabb tied a career high with 5 touchdown passes, and the offense set a club record with 583 total yards. The Packers have a proud past, but the present team finds itself at a crossroad. After scoring just 3 points in Week 1, Brett Favre got off to a sizzling start against the Browns.
He's in a 20, 15, 10, high steps, 5, touchdown.
Favre joined John Elway and Dan Marino in the 50,000-yard passing club, but turnovers ruined the Packers. Trent Dilfer won at Lambeau Field for the first time in 8 tries. The touchdown to Braylon Edwards covered 80 yards and capped a run of 19 unanswered points. While the fans remembered Reggie White, the color of the day was brown.
Dilfer back to pass, throws, Hyden's got it, over the 40, 45, 50, he's ahead of the field, 35, 30, run, run, run!
Dilfer threw for 336 yards and 3 touchdowns, helping Romeo Crennel earn his first win.
So, Coach Crennel's first win comes in one of football's most celebrated venues, Lambeau Field. Meanwhile, on Monday night, several hundred miles east, the focus was on the Saints' rescheduled home opener at Giants Stadium. New Orleans Police Chief Eddie Compass was the league's guest at the game, participating in the coin toss. There's been much talk about how sports can serve as a distraction and escape for those affected in times like these, and for many whose lives were directly impacted, as well as the Saints players themselves, the game did in fact take on some added meaning.
On Monday in Houston, at a complex meant for sports, hundreds of evacuees from New Orleans trudged through another day in a makeshift shelter, ready to move to yet another improvised dwelling, to ride out yet another storm. Hundreds of miles away, the NFL was trying to bring a little Bourbon Street to the streets of New Jersey. For New Orleans Superintendent of Police Eddie Compass, this game was a welcome respite from a suddenly transformed life of keeping watch over a devastated city. As Compass left New York, he left with the admiration and embrace of New York's finest.
Enjoy the game, and the Giants will win. Wow, we don't see about that.
That's that police brotherhood. So I worked the first 6 days, then I worked about another 8 days in a row, and then I came to this. The realization of tragedy is starting to really sink in. That now the actual danger is over. We're not getting shot at anymore. Now the normal life problems are coming into play where, you know, we didn't even think about those things. We're just trying to survive. You know, we're trying to get back to some semblance of normal life. And football is really big in the state of Louisiana, especially in the city of New Orleans. I mean, we love our Saints. What's up, baby? What's up, baby? I'm here for you, baby. I'm here for you. I know you're good for about 4 tonight. I done came all the way from New Orleans to see you, baby.
Good.
All right.
Enjoy the show tonight,
I tell you, man, look, we're proud of y'all, man.
What is it like for you coming up here? Is it hard to leave the area?
Well, it was. Well, let me tell you, it was difficult, but I was in the last group to take their break.
Like he has in the weeks following the storm, Chief Compass once again had the presence of hope and enthusiasm working the room, doing his best to make Giants Stadium seem like home.
You been all right, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Dow Burger say hello.
Oh, yeah.
All right, my brother. You be cool, baby.
Okay, actually, I'm sorry. We got to go right here.
All right.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I tell you, when the NFL called me and asked me to flip the coin, I was honored. I couldn't refuse. Plus, Joe Horn is my favorite player, and I wanted to see him.
Saints wide receiver Joe Horn has also been a positive presence for his city in the storm's aftermath.
What's up, Ralph? How you doing, buddy? We're doing good. We're blessed, man.
Everything all right down there?
Yes, indeed. We're going to be all right. We're going to bounce back, Ralph. Thanks a lot for the support. Word up. Hey, fellas, we got to weather the storm. We got to weather the storm. We family. We got to play like it. We got to act like it. Come here. Family on three. Family on three. 1, 2, 3, family.
Back in Houston for a few hours at least, the evacuees could once again root for their Saints.
President Bush, will you please toss the coin for us? Heads is the coin. It is tails. New Orleans will receive. Good luck, gentlemen.
Let's roll.
The NFL tried the best they could to make it seem like a home game for the Saints. But from the opening kickoff, New Orleans' team was out of sync.
12-yard line with the ball coming free and covered at the 10-yard line by the Giants, I believe. Fred McAfee fumbled it away.
Come on. Don't worry about it. Let's go. Let's go. It's over, Fast Freddy. It's over.
Fast Freddie McAfee's fumble helped New York get off to a 14-0 first quarter lead.
It's a block from McKenzie to the goal line, touchdown!
Come on, Saints.
Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, man. Let's go, boy. Hey, keep your breath, let them talk, and let's do our job, all right?
Joe Horn looked right at home in the Giants secondary. He caught 9 passes for 143 yards and helped cut New York's lead in half.
End zone, it's going to be caught by Horn on a leaping grab a yard deep.
Hey, big time catch, baby, big time catch. Let's roll, let's go, let's roll, let's roll, let's roll, let's roll. Rise, rise. Dante, rise, rise.
But for all of Horn's enthusiasm, Saints turnovers kept coming, and New York took a 21-7 halftime lead.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, touchdown, untouched by Tiki Barber. That was way too easy.
Self-inflicted wounds, buddy. Say what? Self-inflicted wounds. We giving them cake. They eating it off the plate.
The third quarter was more of the same. Saints mistakes and Giants scores. 13 penalties and 6 turnovers added up to a hard night for the team from the Big Easy.
Near sideline, Horn. Horn drops the ball as he tries to stretch it out for the pylon. And they're going to rule a fumble through the end zone and a touchback.
I got you fumbled the ball into the end zone. You didn't step out, so it's a touchback.
Yeah, you fumbled it. It's over. It's all good.
My goodness, this would be the topper on the night for the Saints.
We're killing ourselves. We lose games all the time like that, man. We kill ourselves, man. We gotta make plays, and we gotta stop crazy penalties. That's all. Play sound football. We'll win every game we play.
As for Chief Compass, his break was over. He was back to his wounded city.
With Tropical Storm Rita now heading for the Gulf, Rita could be a hurricane by the time her leading edge reaches Key West sometime tomorrow. She's now 270 miles away.
Okay, though the Saints come up short, football providing a brief reprieve for Chief Compass and others from the struggles back home. New Orleans will now split the rest of its home schedule between San Antonio and Baton Rouge, though questions still remain about the team's future. We're joined now by Sports Illustrated's Peter King for King's Corner, and as best you can discern it, what is the future of the Saints right now?
Huge question mark, Bob, but I think what's shaping up right now is a bit of a battle between the Saints' longtime owner, Tom Benson, and the NFL. I think if all things were created equal, everybody would like to see this team go back to New Orleans, play in a new stadium, and live happily ever after. The problem with New Orleans as a market for the NFL, though, was there had only 26,000 season tickets sold this year, and who knows how much of that fan base is going to dissolve along with all the damage from Hurricane Katrina and the resulting
the building
flood.
itself, the Superdome.
Yeah, I mean, you have no idea if there's going to be a stadium.
It or replace it.
Absolutely. So now you have to say, okay, if not New Orleans, then where? And I think the battle is shaping up because Tom Benson, who last year was remarried in San Antonio, his best friend lives in San Antonio. They get married in San Antonio. I mean, the writing is on the wall that I think if all things are created equal, I think he'd like probably to move the team to San Antonio. Now, having said that, The league came out this week. Paul Tagliabue told the New Orleans Times-Picayune, we do not want to get involved anymore in moving franchises to smaller or parallel markets. And San Antonio's the 37th market in the United States. Look at Greenville Spartanburg. They're 35th. They got 60,000 more TV homes than San Antonio. If this franchise does relocate, I think in 2006, logically, this team will play at LSU because they want it to stay in state to show loyalty for the time being. But long term, I think this team probably has the best shot of playing in Los Angeles.
Meanwhile, does Mike Tice have a shot at not being the coach of the Vikings before the season's over?
You know, interim coaches in the NFL, obviously, is just a combustible mix. It's only ever worked really once in our lifetimes, and that's when Raymond Berry took over for Ron Meyer with the Patriots, and the Patriots went on to have a great year. Most of the time, people don't want to have interim coaches because it's a sign you're raising the white flag and changing terminology and changing the plays. And talking to Mike Tice this week, one of the things I asked him, how are you getting along with the new owner? He goes, fan-friggin-tastic. And he wasn't being sarcastic. He likes him because what Ziggy Wolf, the new owner, has done is he said, what can I do? Tell me how I can help. Do you need new coaches? Do you need new this? Do you need anything? And so I think right now the honeymoon is still on. But obviously, if they go 2-14, Mike Tice is going to have a short shelf life there.
Plus, I like any owner named Ziggy Wolf. I've never met this guy. I picture this guy with a snap brim hat, a big stogie, and a pinky ring. Am I right?
No, hey, listen, he's a mall owner from New Jersey. But
this is a big disappointment.
But he's impressed everybody out there because, Bob, this week he went out and he put his money where his mouth was. He made a stadium deal for just north of the Twin Cities. So the Vikings are in no danger of becoming the Los Angeles Vikings.
Bill Romanowski out with an autobiography, memoir, whatever he wants to call it. How's that going to read?
Well, I think it's about a month from now when that finally comes out. There's going to be some controversy in there. You know, the word on the NFL street is that Romo is going to say in the book that he did take THG, you know, which obviously became a banned substance. And I think one of the things he told me when we talked this week was that, look, you know, this is not going to be a Canseco book. It's not going to be any tell-all people thing where I throw people under the bus. I'm just going to talk about why I was so ambitious and how that led me astray.
Meanwhile, before we go, I know people at home are saying, what has Peter done in the offseason? You are in peak shape.
I don't know about peak, Bob, but I'm getting there. Thank you very much. I said, you know, it's about time that I wasn't a fat guy anymore. So
how many did you drop?
I dropped 55.
Wow. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you, Bobby.
I actually plan to do the same thing, and then I'll be riding gum legs in the 4th at Hialeah. All right, let's return now to the highlights and go to Tampa Bay, where apparently, I don't really understand this, but the highlights are going to make it clear, Chucky had a new bride. I know Chucky is Gruden, but anyway, this new bride wasn't the most hospitable of hostesses. Roll it.
We're going to send the Bills back home like they've never been sent back home before. We're going to beat the crap out of them.
They preparing for what we were last week. We're a lot better today.
The NFL isn't a place for finger pointing, especially when the real culprit was the swarming Buccaneers defense. Both teams traded blows in a hard-fought game. John Gruden was faced with a 4th and 5 on the Bills' 38-yard line. He figured he was too far for a field goal and decided to punt instead of going for the first down. The punt was perfect, meaning young J.P. Lossman would have to stare down the intimidating Buccaneers defense from his own end zone, surrounded by a hostile Tampa crowd.
Get this crowd up when these guys call us from the line of scrimmage. It should be ridiculous for him to communicate in here today. Get off your damn feet!
snap. Dugout, here comes pressure. Lousman flush. He steps out of the end zone. It's a safety. He stepped out of the end zone. Safety.
A mistake by J.P. Losman.
I know you like it. I know you like it. Keep your poise. The only way we lose this game is if we pick it up, okay?
Everything began to go the Buccaneers' way.
First down, Bucs. Good spot, 84. Good job. Way to call it like you see it. You gotta love that.
Zebra, Brian. Zebra Cadillac. Big carries for Cadillacs.
Cadillac Williams carried his team to victory.
Here's Greasy handing off to Cadillac. Hinesdale into the 40. He ran over 2 or 3 Buffalo Bills, and that's Cadillac Williams.
The Buccaneers rushed for over 190 yards, including 2 touchdowns.
He's got a huge game. He's got his second 100-yard game. But Cadillac takes it into Bill territory. Cadillac Williams gets the call. Cadillac to the 3, to the 2. He's close. He's close. He's close. He's close. He's got a touchdown, Tampa Bay. Cadillac Williams takes it to the house.
Cadillac Williams is rolling now.
You beat a damn good football team. You beat a heck of a football team. Can we run the ball on offense or not? Yes, sir. Is there any question about that? Okay, we got to keep getting better.
If beauty is in the eye of the beholder, Michael Vick must have looked pretty good to Seahawks fans in the first half Sunday. Vick skittered around the field like a caged bird, with only 7 yards on 5 rushes to show for it. The rolling thunder of running back Sean Alexander powered Seattle's offense. Alexander rumbled for 90 yards in the first half, and his second quarter touchdown run gave the Seahawks a 14-0 lead. Tight end Jeremy Stevens' touchdown catch gave Seattle a vice grip on the game.
Touchdown Seahawks!
Oh, my goodness, what a catch by the big young guy!
Vick's third quarter scoring pass to Brian Finneran loosened it. And after a Seattle fumble late in the fourth, the caged bird broke free. But Vick tweaked his hamstring on the scramble, and he was replaced by Matt Shaw, who nearly engineered a miracle victory.
21-16, 3:58 to play, and Atlanta goes for 2 here. Caught Crumpler, 2-point conversion. And just like that, the Falcons are now within a field goal of tying this baby up.
In their last leg, Schaub and the Falcons would fall just short.
Schaub couldn't pull off the magic he did a year ago, and it looks like the Seahawks are going to win their home opener.
Whether you root for the Bears or play for them, it helps to have faith in better days ahead. And whether or not the winds of change were whispering at Soldier Field Sunday, the Bears rewarded the faithful. Running back Thomas Jones rushed for 139 yards and gave Chicago an early 7-0 lead.
Bouncing to the outside, Jones gets by one man. Inside the 5, angling for the goal line. Does he get in? Touchdown Bears.
On the next play from scrimmage, Lions quarterback Joey Harrington hit Roy Williams in stride down the sideline.
Hooking deep right side, got Roy Williams out there. Williams inside the 20, inside the 10, 5, touchdown Lions. How about that for coming back?
Like punt return man Bobby Wade, however, the Bears would never look back.
Going to start to the near side around 26. Runs by him into the 30, 35, 40, 45 midfield. Into Lion territory at the 40. He's got an escort at the 30, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown!
Rookie quarterback Kyle Orton threw his first touchdown, and Muhsin Muhammad caught his first as a Bear. Chicago also took advantage of Harrington's 5 interceptions, and safety Mike Brown's 6th career defensive touchdown helped the Bears produce their highest scoring game in nearly 12 years.
10-5, Mike Brown has done it again! And welcome to the House of Thrills today.
Well, a bad day for some young quarterbacks, but this ought to brighten their mood a bit because we have our world-famous teeing off segment now between Chris Carter.
It's world-famous,
That's
Tom.
right, and Dan Marino, or as we like to call it around here, Bob's Coffee Break. Let's move on to the first question. It
takes long ones.
No, it doesn't. Is it almost time to give up on Joey Harrington?
Well, I don't think so. You know, for one this is really the first year that he's had his whole complement of receivers all together. You know, they've had injuries. They drafted Williams from USC again. I don't think so. I think you still give him time because I think he still can be the franchise quarterback they expected.
Well, it could be, but they really don't have anybody else to replace him. Garcia, who they brought in, got hurt. I mean, I've had days where I've thrown 5 interceptions, and you don't have many friends on the team, you know, after you throw 5 picks. But I would say he has a lot of talent around him, and it's time to pick it up because, you know, they give him a lot of time.
I say, how long? How many more #1 picks does this guy have to have around him before he starts looking good? All right, here we go. What happened to the offensive genius, Brian Billick? You're a good friend.
Well,
you played for him. Let's hear it.
Let's hear it.
Well, for
Is he overrated?
For one, they haven't had the horses in Baltimore offensively. Now, he knew when he went there, it was a huge debate. Does he take the Cleveland job or does he go to Baltimore and already has an outstanding defense? For one, as you can't forget, he has won 1 Super Bowl. He hasn't had the quarterback stability that we had in Minnesota. I mean, at least 1 solid year.
But even when they won the Super Bowl, it wasn't with their offense.
No. But
right?
But what difference does that
but
make?
Trent Dilfer was the greatest thing that ever happened to them at the quarterback position.
And they might have won another one if they kept
they got
Trent
rid
Dilfer.
of him. And
they made a huge mistake in getting rid of Dilfer.
another.
The problem there in Baltimore is, in 7 years there, Brian Billick has started 0-2 3 times. Now, that is just not acceptable with the talent level that they have there.
Well, you know, I think he's an excellent football coach, but there comes a time when you have to pick the best guy to play and give you a chance to win, and I'm not sure that Kyle Bowler's that guy, although he's given him a lot of confidence, and he keeps saying he's the guy that's going to be the starter when he gets healthy again. I think Anthony Wright might give him a better chance to win.
But what can you do when you rush for a franchise low, all-time low of 14 yards against the Titans, who had given up 200 yards the week before against the Steelers?
So you need to throw for 400. That's what you need to do.
Let's get on to some good gossipy stuff here. You ready for this?
Oh, man.
Word on the street in Philadelphia is that Terrell Owens may be getting married in the offseason. Donovan McNabb, I guess, would be best man. I don't know. will marriage change to you?
No. Definitely not.
Well, I think you got to call his accountants because I think his expenses will go way up. That's for sure. And maybe, you know, who knows? Maybe that's why he held out of camp.
Well, I say let's hope so.
Well, for one, what do you think?
I think anything's got to help him. It's unbelievable.
Well, it's not going to help his contract dispute that he has because now he's lost half his money. So now he'll want more money.
We didn't lose it yet. He didn't even get married, and you already got him divorced. He's going to lose half his money.
Okay. Do you think that? Look, he got divorced. He got divorced.
We're all going to shut up before we're all divorced. Next question. Will Mike Tyson, another one of your good friends, survive the season? Contract year, they start 0-2.
All kind of friends in this
they
segment,
lose
don't
Randy
you?
Moss.
He'll definitely make it through the season. The thing about it, when you lose Randy Moss, Matt Burke, and I don't think those are the biggest losses to that team. I think the biggest loss was Scott Lanahan, the offensive coordinator, who's now in Miami.
I agree with that.
Very deep indeed. All right, how much has spending most of the offseason in prison affected Jamal Lewis's poor start?
I don't know. I've never been to prison. I can't answer that question.
Well, for one, I think it did affect his rehab because you have to realize that last year before he was sentenced, he did have surgery. And in doing that, how much rehab can you get? Now, I know that he did do some outpatient things at a rehab facility close there, but it's not the same as getting NFL rehab at the facility. So he came in the best shape of his career. And I remember we trained him before he started his NFL career, and that's the reason why Billick took him, because he was in great shape. But I think you do lose something not being there at the NFL facility.
I think be patient. He'll be back to his normal self. So.
It's safe to say going to jail before the season is not a good thing.
It's not a good thing
It's
anytime.
not a good thing.
I wouldn't know.
There you go. All
That
right.
was my answer.
Enough of that. Let's go back to finish up the highlights now. We'll go up to Denver where Marty Schottenheimer and his Chargers were in town for a visit.
As long as it takes. As long as it takes. One play at a time. Play through the bad plays. Play through the good plays. Go to the next play. We got to be physical now. Let's go get it.
In Denver, LaDainian Tomlinson set an NFL record with a rushing touchdown in his 14th consecutive game.
A little flip. LT's got it out of the backfield. 10-5. Touchdown. San Diego on top.
Great job.
You guys are making it happen.
It's all
about you. It's all about you. You made history. Let's go get a win, huh?
San Diego bullied the Broncos throughout the first half. Robinson's second touchdown gave the Chargers a 14-3 halftime lead.
Chargers clearly have the Broncos on the ropes, but they are fighting for their lives, the Broncos.
Hey, there's no way they should run this on us. No way. It's up to us. It's our 7 up front.
On the first play of the third quarter, Champ Bailey provided a much-needed spark.
3-step drop. Pass left side. It's going to be picked off. Champ Bailey walks to the house. There's an all-pro move by an all-pro.
Bailey's heroics instantly changed the game.
He letting y'all loose right now. He letting y'all go. So somebody get home. In the backfield. In the backfield. Smash.
In the second half, San Diego gained only 41 yards as the Broncos pounded out 3 sacks and 2 turnovers.
Blitz on the way. Breeze is going to be hit as he tries to get rid of the football. The ball is free. Denver's got the ball. Ian Gold.
By the fourth quarter, Denver was poised to win the game.
At the 39, here comes Darren. Midfield, here we go, 45-40. Darren Williams, 35-31 to beat. 25-20, 15 to the house. Darren Williams, 61 yards on the return. Now let's wait and see about the flag.
Hey, what they say? We ran on the field to celebrate or something? Yeah. Oh, man.
The Broncos overcame the blunder with a Kyle Johnson touchdown. But tied at 17, just on the edge of field goal range, Denver's offense opted for a calculated risk.
4th and 1 from the 33-yard line in a tied game with 57 seconds to go. Well, the riverboat gambler, Mike Shanahan, has decided he's going to try to go for it here. Plummer on 4th down. The pitch. Dane's got it. Left side, inside the 30. Ron Dane inside the 25. First down, Denver. Put that one in the memory bank, folks. 4th down and a yard in week 2.
After 2 long misses, Jason Elam connected.
It's good. It's good. It's good.
Defensive dominance saved the day in Denver.
I ain't never seen nobody in the second half step up and take over a game like y'all did, man, to give us a chance. That's a hell of a job, man.
Most Cowboys fans would have given an arm and a leg to see the triplets' induction into the Ring of Honor. And the ones lucky enough to be at Texas Stadium Monday night were also treated to a defensive slugfest. Dallas sacked Mark Brunell 5 times, and early in the third quarter, the Cowboys' offense used a little trickery to break through.
Bledsoe with a handoff to Jones, flip back to Bledsoe on a flea flicker, deep down the middle for Terry Glenn, 25, 15, touchdown, flea flicker.
Down 13 late in the fourth quarter, Brunell took a broken Redskins offense and made it whole. On 3rd and 27 from the Washington 21, he scrambled for 25 yards. And on 4th down, he connected with James Thrash for a gain of 20. Then he got greedy.
4th and 15 with 3:55 to play. Brunell from the shotgun. Has time. Going for all of it. Into the end zone. Santana Moss catches it. Touchdown, Redskins.
On his route, Redskins wide receiver Santana Moss used speed and precision to beat corner Aaron Glenn and safety Roy Williams. Moss's cut shook Glenn, and his speed split Glenn and Williams, who was too late in reacting. 2 minutes later, Moss picked on Glenn and Williams on virtually the same play to win the game.
Back to pass. Steps up. Deep. Looking for Santana Moss. He's there. He catches it. 15, 10-5. Touchdown, Redskins. 70 yards. Brunell to Santana Moss.
Washington, which had lost 14 out of 15 to Dallas, took one right out of their pockets tonight.
Carolina's payback plans for its loss to New England in Super Bowl 38 were in jeopardy when the Patriots scored first, thanks to Tom Brady's 100th touchdown pass of his NFL career.
I told you it was down, right? If it's down, it's down. Everybody plays it down. Now listen, when go back in there, it's up next series.
Things began to look up for the Panthers once their defense put the clamps on New England's attack, which didn't score a touchdown after the first quarter.
Intercepted Witherspoon.
What an interception, Vic. I ain't seen something like that with a linebacker.
Carolina's special teams also contributed, keyed by a punt return from Chris Gamble.
It was a crushing block on the outside. It was Benny Churchill, cousin Benny up there, number 50. Absolutely springs Chris Gamble. Then it's arrest Chris Gamble getting up the field. I think he kind of ran out of gas a little bit.
Although Gamble didn't score, the return sparked a run of 20 unanswered points as the Panthers leaped to a comfortable advantage after halftime. What Jake Delhomme found was nothing but trouble.
Now steps up into the pocket, dumps it, it's intercepted. Mike Vrabel at the 15, the 10, the 5, touchdown! Score now, Carolina 20, Patriots 17. The Patriots are back in the old football game.
He tried to throw it away because he's all right, everyone, it's time to go and search today's famous double take. As soon as he threw it, he was trying to throw it out of bounds. He let it go.
But what the Patriots heard was dwarfed by what the Panthers saw.
Hey, listen to me, D-line. It's no count. He's doing like this. He's taking his left hand, he tapped the center ass, then the center head come up, and he's snapping the ball. When the center head come up, he's snapping the ball.
Once Carolina cracked the code, its furious pass rush put constant pressure on New England.
Brady, backpedals, throws, ball knocked away, Rucker, it's loose. Peppers picks it up at the 20, the 15, the 10, and taken out of bounds.
Hand it off here. Hand off all the way.
A clearing block from fullback Brad Hoover helped Carolina clinch the victory.
Toss sweep to the right, Stephen Davis. Davis, touchdown!
The last of three Davis scores handed New England only its third loss in their last 36 games. The Texans were looking to bounce back after taking a Week 1 beating in Buffalo. But it was Houston quarterback David Carr who was kicked around by the Steelers. Carr was sacked 8 times by a Pittsburgh defense that has allowed just 2 touchdowns.
Steelers have it on the far sideline.
Ben Roethlisberger proved to be both accurate and productive for the second straight week.
Pass is caught at the 5, down to the goal line. Hines Ward in with a Pittsburgh Steelers touchdown.
Big Ben hooked up with Hines Ward twice as the Steelers jumped out to a 20-0 lead. Second-year pro Willie Parker had his second straight 100-yard rushing game as the Steelers beat the Texans for the first time in team history.
Well, early returns say the Steelers haven't lost much, if anything. Ben Roethlisberger still undefeated as a starter in the regular season, 16-0 now, and now it's time for a rematch of last year's AFC Championship game as the Patriots return to Pittsburgh. What do we think?
Well, when I look at the Patriots, I mean, they're the Super Bowl champs, and they have all the great players. I think the one thing they've been missing so far this year is running the football. You know, Corey Dillon's a guy they've relied on. They've relied on having that balanced attack offensively, and right now they don't have that. So that's going to be a problem for them, especially going into Pittsburgh, a team that can run the ball the way they've been running it for the last 2 weeks and the way they did last year. And they have a young quarterback that has a lot of confidence right now. I think it's going to be a problem for the Patriots.
It's not too early to talk about the Charlie Weis factor with the New England Patriots because, honestly, it was the worst offensive performance I've seen out of the Patriots since Bill Belichick has been there. They couldn't run the football. Their only touchdown came on a blown coverage by the Carolina Panthers. And everybody questioned what would happen without Charlie Weis. And if this is any indicator of it, it's going to be a tough season. Tom Brady at the Super Bowl was talking about it last year with us privately before the game. And he was nervous about it. You could clearly tell that he was worried about going into this season without Charlie Weis, and that was not good last week.
Well, one thing that makes Bill Belichick nervous is the special teams play. First game of the season, had a punt block, had an extra point block. Last week's game against Carolina gave up a huge return. They're not getting the play out of their special teams that they expect. And with that being 1/3 of the game, they realize that's a huge punt. On the flip side, Pittsburgh, all they do is plug in a running back, and Willie Parker is running the ball as well as we've seen any Pittsburgh running back run the ball. And Roethlisberger is playing with the type of confidence that he played at midseason last year.
All right, here's another issue besides the departure of Weiss and their ineffective running game and sputtering on special teams. They are in the midst, speaking of the Patriots, second game coming up now at Pittsburgh, of a 5-game stretch in which the 5 opponents averaged 11 wins a year ago, and 4 of the 5 games are on the road for the Patriots. The lone home game is against San Diego, and now we hear some grumblings, whether it's justified or not, coming out of New England.
That's the punishment for winning 3 Super Bowls.
Maybe they want to make the road harder. Now, the schedule is predetermined, but the way the games are arranged is what they're complaining about, this run of games and this sequence.
Yeah, and the league always does that, whether they want to admit it or not. They make the schedule very soft for the bad teams early on to try and get them a couple of wins, and very hard for the good teams. So it brings everybody back to 500.
One thing, too, is you have to realize with parity, we don't know. Like last year, the Vikings were a playoff team. Now they've started 0-2. The reason why a league does that also is because you don't know which teams are going to flip-flop and go back. You know, 2 seasons ago, San Diego was 4-12. Last year, 12-4. You don't know that. So the teams that were good the previous season, you'd much rather play them against the big teams earlier in the season.
All right, let's get you on the record. New England to Pittsburgh, your pick is?
I like Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
I'm staying with the Patriots. I made this mistake in the playoffs last year. Everything pointed towards Pittsburgh, and New England came there and got it done. I think they'll do it again.
I make it 3 out of 4. I take the Steelers. That's not the only interesting matchup of Week 3. Dan, Falcons in Buffalo. Mike Vick, wounded, but he'll play.
Well, he is going to play, and to tell you the truth, that's going to help the Buffalo Bills, especially in Buffalo. The fact that he's hurting a little bit. He might not be able to make those big plays running around. That's going to put some pressure on him throwing the ball in the pocket, which he has struggled with at times. But the Buffalo defense, Chris says Chicago Bears have the best defense in the league. I think Buffalo might have the best defense in the league. And I think, playing at home, it's going to come down to J.P. Lossman. If he's going to make the plays, which he needs to make some plays. He didn't last week. If he makes just a few plays, they should be able to win this game.
And we all agree, as we take a look at it, that the Bills will bounce back at home. Dan said so, and there's no disagreement here. Jacksonville travels north to the Meadowlands to face the Jets, who won ugly on Sunday. And Chris Carter, you made some comments that have been well circulated, especially in the New York papers, about the play of their quarterback, Chad Pennington, on last week's show.
Tell him you're sorry.
Well,
Tell
not
him you're
sorry.
sorry.
Well, the Jags have tremendous. They have tremendous.
He was sorry last week.
The Jags have huge question marks as far as their offensive line. And the way John Abraham and the Jets defense is playing, I think that's well enough. And we know Curtis Martin, right now taping the show on Wednesday, is questionable, but we know the veteran. He's always going to be out there. Without him, I don't think they can win.
What's wrong with Pennington? In your view, you criticized him.
He's got a water pistol as an arm.
He does. I'm telling you, some of the softest thrown balls I've ever seen last week watching that game. It's just arcs in there.
He had an operation, so you got to give him a little bit.
But I'm picking the Jets.
He had some operation in the offseason, but that has always been the question.
And not many quarterbacks have ever come back from that operation.
Well, at least for this week, we all think that the Jets have turned things around sufficiently. At least Chris Carter does.
I mean, I hope it's not a big fire because he's only got a water gun to put it out.
Well, we understand. Actually, it's only Chris and Chris who like gangrene at home. Dan Marino and I are taking the Jags. Now, Chris Collinsworth, AFC West matchup in Denver on Monday night. The Chiefs are 2-0. They go against the Broncos.
Whether Willie Roaf plays or not, I think determines this game for Kansas City. They have to be able to run the football on the road. He missed last week with the bad hamstring. I'm guessing he's at least not 100%, so I'm going with the Broncos.
How about these Chiefs? Last year, 13 of 16 games, they allowed 24 points or more. They've allowed only 24 in their first 2 games combined.
The Chiefs' defense has really improved, and they upgraded a lot. A lot of free agents. Kendrell Bell, they've got your buddy Surtain out of
What about Derek Johnson, the linebacker, number 1 pick from Texas?
It's a different defense.
But also a huge vote of confidence that last drive where the Raiders can possibly win the game. Kansas City's defense being able to shut them out. That's going to go a long way for that defense in November and December.
Okay, guys, let's zip through this. We're split again. Collinsworth and Carter like Denver at home. Dan and I think the Chiefs will get to 3-0. And a few other quick picks here. We all like San Diego to get their first win while handing the Giants their first loss. And we also agree that the Panthers, fresh off their big win against New England, will get past the Dolphins in Miami. You can check out all of our picks every week at hbo.com/INFL and play Beat the Hosts, and you see last week's results right there on your screen.
Anybody can beat me right now.
You know what? The show's over now.
Oh,
Would you like to say goodnight?
That's good.
Just say goodnight.
We got to shout out to the all the people, especially if you're not paying for this. I hear you, my brother.
Inside the NFL premieres every Wednesday night on HBO at 10 Eastern and Pacific and plays again Thursday at 8 p.m. and 11:45 p.m. Eastern and Pacific. The next Boxing After Dark airs on Saturday night, September 24th at 10 Eastern and Pacific as Vladimir Klitschko battles Samuel Peter and Miguel Cotto takes on Ricardo Torres.
This has been a presentation of HBO Sports.
It's time to enter the bad zone. Vladimir Klitschko is a tower of power focused on climbing to the top. But undefeated contender Samuel Peter wants his shot at the mountain. Can these heavyweight hitters prove they've got the muscle to earn a title shot? Plus, will unbeaten Puerto Rican superstar Miguel Cotto continue his meteoric rise in a sizzling junior welterweight showdown? The baddest on the planet are ready to rock. Live, Saturday night at 10 on HBO Boxing After Dark. And stay tuned immediately following the fight for Countdown to Tarver Jones 3.
HBO. Honored with 27 Primetime Emmy Awards. More than every other network.
Groundbreaking. Critically acclaimed. Smash hits. HBO